Spend your day with Miss Kitty and Dennis. We've got your back in Money Masterclass with our financial guru, Carlton. Then we take a trip with a Nancy. He weaves his web in Los Angeles. We'll wrap your morning with something for the kids. We're hanging with a gymnast. You've never seen a sunrise quite like this.
The intersection of two events, Carnival and Ash Wednesday. For some people, they find themselves confronted with a striking contrast. On the one hand, Carnival represents a time of exuberant celebration, indulgence and joy, filled with parades, music and festivities. It's a time when communities come together to embrace life's pleasures before the somber period of Lent. Now, in this discussion, we'll explore the historical, cultural and religious significance of both Carnival and Ash Wednesday, examining how they are interconnected and yet so profoundly different in their expressions of faith and life. Lead Story starts now. Welcome, this is Lead Story. I'm Nika Lewis, sitting in for George Davis. Well, Carnival is the prelude to the season of reflection and fasting marked by Ash Wednesday. And the revelry and indulgence of Carnival stand in contrast, stark contrast, to the somber tone of Lent, making Carnival a sort of farewell to excess before the disciplined period of self-denial and spiritual growth that follows. So we've prepared a package to better explain the relationship between the two.
In the Caribbean, the vibrant, pulsating energy of Carnival gives way to the reflective solemnity of Ash Wednesday, marking a profound cultural and spiritual shift. These two events, both deeply rooted in the region's history, encapsulate a powerful juxtaposition of exuberance and reverence, a contrast that resonates across the islands each year. Carnival in the Caribbean is a riotous explosion of color, music, and movement, from Trinidad and Tobago's world-renowned parade of dazzling costumes and steel pan rhythms to the calypso beats of Barbados and masqueraders in Jamaica. The Caribbean's carnival celebrations are unmatched in their energy and creativity. It is a time for locals and visitors alike to revel in a sense of freedom, leaving behind the constraints of everyday life to embrace the pleasures of music, dance, and unrestrained celebration. However, this euphoric outpouring of joy is short-lived. As the final strains of soca and calypso fade, the solemnity of Ash Wednesday arrives. The shift from the hedonistic highs of Carnival to the reflective, prayerful mood of Ash Wednesday is particularly stark in the Caribbean, where the deep-rooted Catholic and Anglican traditions call for self-examination and renewal. In churches throughout the region, thousands gather to partake in the traditions of Ash Wednesday and the Lenten season, a symbol of humility, mortality, and repentance. In places like Trinidad, where Carnival is considered the greatest show on earth, Ash Wednesday marks the start of Lent, a season of sacrifice and spiritual cleansing that stands in sharp contrast to the festivities of the previous days. The abrupt transition from Carnival to Ash Wednesday highlights a distinctive feature of Caribbean culture, its ability to hold joy and sorrow, celebration and contemplation in a delicate balance. Carnival represents the exuberant embrace of life, a chance to celebrate the body, music, and the carefree spirit of the islands, while Ash Wednesday serves as a time for introspection and renewal, inviting people to reflect on their faith and prepare their hearts for the season of Lent. So, does the juxtaposition of Carnival and Ash Wednesday in the Caribbean underscore a truth of sorts? That is to say, in every celebration and in every period of reflection, the people of the Caribbean find a way to honor both the fullness of life and the need for spiritual growth. We discuss on Lead Story. Courteney Lewis for Lead Story.
So simply put, Carnival traditionally takes place in the days leading up to Ash Wednesday. And it's a final celebration before the more serious and penitential season of Lent begins. My guests will share their perspectives after this break. You're watching Lead Story on CVM TV.
Join my private room. Only $1,000 for a grand time.
That I know me. We never said that. But who go and believe me?
That is correct. $4,350,000. Yes, go ahead. $4 million? I never approved that.
Yes, me go doctor tomorrow. So me have to get the money today, no longer. Then no me face that. We never make no record or beg nobody no money.
Deepfakes are AI-generated images and videos made to look and sound like people we know and trust. They're used to spread misinformation, destroy reputations, and are used to commit fraud and scams. Don't fall victim to deepfakes. Protect yourself. For more information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or scan the QR code on screen.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Hey you know all the people in your business?
You should take advantage of CVM TV's unbeatable small business advertising package. Trust me.
And get your goods and services in front of your customers today.
For $150,000, you get a high-quality professional commercial.
Plus 20 prime-time commercial spots.
That's massive exposure at a fraction of the cost.
Including on the #1 morning show in Jamaica, Sunrise.
So don't wait. Call us on 658-208-5377 and see your business goals happen right here on CVM Television.
Rise with sunrise. Spend your day with Miss Kitty and Dennis. We've got your back in Money Masterclass with our financial guru, Carlton. Then we take a trip with a Nancy. He weaves his web in Los Angeles. We'll wrap your morning with something for the kids. We're hanging with a gymnast. You've never seen a sunrise quite like this.
You don't have to be Rasta.
We have our first father and son duo. I'm a fan.
Likewise.
Choo.
I actually got my first beating on tour from him with a drumstick.
My mother was in America working for the Jackson 5 at the time.
Michael and Tito and
yes, sir, that 5.
I said, Dad, you know, some water, baby, now. I said, no, son, don't do it.
I'll be down by the river.
The honorable member of Morgan Heritage.
All right.
The Cut, brought to you by Flo and Rare Nephew.
Now I'm where I want to be.
Where the difference is made. Where titles are decided. Where respect is earned. Excel here and you could go down in history. It's the final third. CVM TV's weekly JPL preview show every Sunday, starting 30 minutes before our live broadcast. Get insight, analysis, and hear from your favorite players weekly, just before we bring you our feature broadcast for the day. Move from defense to attack and join us in the final third. This and every Sunday until the end of the JPL season.
In a world where innovation meets tradition, agriculture is evolving like never before. From the latest sustainable farming technologies to age-old practices passed down through generation, agriculture is
precious to me.
I love the animals. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I love working.
Join us right here on CVM TV every Sunday during news at 7 as we explore the people, the science, and the breakthroughs that are shaping the way we grow, eat, and live. You don't want to miss it. This is Farming Forward.
They're Feud's biggest fans.
We love
Y'all gonna have to get some fans. Join the club.
So I decided to do something special.
But it really matches his skin. Which is scary. Family Feud.
I look like a tattoo on this big Italian dude's chest.
Brought to you by
SLB empowers my future.
CVM TV and live Jamaica Premier League action on a Monday night. A match made in heaven. We call it Monday Match Night. Catch all the hard-pounding JPL Monday night action from now until the end of the season on CVM TV's Monday Match Night. Matchday Mondays at 7:45 p.m. with a rebroadcast Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Nothing else can quite match up. Monday Match Night, powered by Sunshine Snacks and ABC Electrical.
Come in, step into my corner
office. Literally a corner office.
Right, yes.
Growing up here in Jamaica now, we see these things grow widely on trees, you know.
That's actually where the chocolate is. As of 7 years old, I've said I'm going to become a pastry chef. I used to work with this really crazy, out-of-the-box thinking chocolatier. We started from our living room, and now we're here cranking out 1,000 bars a day.
I'm seeing banana, sweet potato.
Yeah, it's really important to us to translate Jamaican flavors to the world.
Hey you know all the people in your business?
You should take advantage of CVM TV's unbeatable small business advertising package. Trust me.
And get your goods and services in front of your customers today.
For $150,000, you get a high-quality professional commercial.
Plus 20 prime-time commercial spots.
That's massive exposure at a fraction of the cost.
Including on the #1 morning show in Jamaica, Sunrise.
So don't wait. Call us on 658-208-5377 and see your business goals happen right here on CVM Television.
Sports should be fun. Sports should be interesting. Sports should be entertaining. Sports should be riveting. This is CVM Sports. I'm Jordan Flint.
Rise with sunrise. Spend your day with Miss Kitty and Dennis. We've got your back in Money Masterclass with our financial guru, Carlton. Then we take a trip with a Nancy. He weaves his web in Los Angeles. We'll wrap your morning with something for the kids. We're hanging with a gymnast. You've never seen a sunrise quite like this.
Where the difference is made, where titles are decided, where respect is earned. Excel here and you could go down in history. It's the final third. CVM TV's weekly JPL preview show every Sunday, starting 30 minutes before our live broadcast. Get insight, analysis, and hear from your favorite players weekly, just before we bring you our feature broadcast for the day. Move from defense to attack and join us in the final third. This and every Sunday until the end of the JPL season.
Welcome to Family Feud, everybody! It was all going so well until...
I've been wanting to get to you for a long time.
Shucky ducky quack quack. Smells so good. I'm taking it all in.
What y'all laughing at?
All new Family Feud.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm getting scared.
Brought to you by We Are the Caring Store, waiting to serve you. It's time to experience independent living. Visit us today.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
In a world where innovation meets tradition, agriculture is evolving like never before. From the latest sustainable farming technologies to age-old practices passed down through generation, agriculture is
precious to me.
I love the animals. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I love working.
Join us right here on CVM TV every Sunday during news at 7 as we explore the people, the science, and the breakthroughs that are shaping the way we grow, eat, and live. You don't want to miss it. This is Farming Forward.
Hey you know all the people in your business?
You should take advantage of CVM TV's unbeatable small business advertising package. Trust me.
And get your goods and services in front of your customers today.
For $150,000, you get a high-quality professional commercial.
Plus 20 primetime commercial spots.
That's massive exposure at a fraction of the cost.
Including on the #1 morning show in Jamaica, Sunrise.
So don't wait. Call us on 658-208-5377 and see your business goals happen right here on CVM Television.
CVM TV and live Jamaica Premier League action on a Monday night. A match made in heaven. We call it Monday Match Night. Catch all the hard-pounding JPL Monday night action from now until the end of the season on CVM TV's Monday Match Night. Matchday Mondays at 7:45 p.m. with a rebroadcast Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Nothing else can quite match up. Monday Match Night, powered by Sunshine Snacks and ABC Electrical.
Steve knows style.
That jacket! When was you in the Temptations? You are my alter ego.
And Steve gives in to his own temptation. Family Feud.
Brought to you by
SLB empowers my future.
Come in, step into my corner
office. Literally a corner office.
Right, yes.
Growing up here in Jamaica now, we see these things grow widely on trees, you know.
That's actually where the chocolate is. As of 7 years old, I've said I'm going to become a pastry chef. I used to work with this really crazy, out-of-the-box thinking chocolatier. We started from our living room, and now we're here cranking out 1,000 bars a day.
I'm seeing banana, sweet potato.
Yeah, it's really important to us to translate Jamaican flavors to the world.
Come rise with sunrise. Spend your day with Miss Kitty and Dennis. We've got your back in Money Masterclass with our financial guru, Carlton. Then we take a trip with a Nancy. He weaves his web in Los Angeles. We'll wrap your morning with something for the kids. We're hanging with a gymnast. You've never seen a sunrise quite like this.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Welcome back to Lead Story as we talk matters.
You don't have to be Rasta. We have our first father and son duo. I'm a fan. Likewise. I actually got my first beating on tour from him with a drumstick. He said, "Hold on." My mother was in America working for the Jackson 5 at the time. Michael and Tito and yes, sir, that 5. I said, "Dad, you know some water, baby, now." I said, "No, son, don't do it." I'll be down by the river. The honorable member of Morgan Heritage. All right.
The Cut, brought to you by Flo and Rare Nephew.
Now I'm where I wanna be.
Welcome back to Lead Story. Joining me now are Reverend Bishop Dr. Michael Smith, Chairman of the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches and Professor of Cultural Studies at the University of the West Indies, Mona, Dr. Sonia Stanley Naya. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you very much, Nika, for having me on.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Certainly, Dr. Naya. Well, the bishop first, because you're the man of the cloth. So, Bishop Smith, can you explain the significance of Ash Wednesday?
All right. Ash Wednesday is very significant in the life of the believer, or the Christians, as some would want to call it, because it marks the beginning of the Lenten season, which basically is the 40 days that Jesus spent in the wilderness, leading up to Good Friday and his crucifixion. And so in these 40 days, which in biblical terms is a generation, and also 40 is a number of consecration. For those who are up in biblical numerology, 40 represents consecration. And so within these 40 days, Jesus, he had the temptation narrative, and he was in fasting. And so we also continue this time. It's a time of penitence. It's a time of fasting. A lot of people give up certain vices that they have over this, whether it be smoking or drinking or gambling, you name it, and they say, they give it up. But I wonder, when they give it up for the 40 days, they can't wait for it to finish, to take it up again. But we as Christians, we look forward to this time. It's a time of reflection, a time of penitence, and it's a very holy time for us.
And that's from the Christian's perspective.
From the Christian's perspective.
All right. But Dr. Naya, we're going to bring you into the conversation because Dr. Naya, historically and culturally, there is something else that takes place around this time, Carnival. What exactly is Carnival? Culturally, historically, define it for us.
So, thank you very much for having me. I'm really pleased to be able to contribute to this conversation. Carnival is, of course, one of the most expressive, creative elements of Caribbean culture. And this is not to say that carnivals don't happen in other parts of the world. In fact, where Caribbean carnivals are concerned, there is quite a bit of, let me say, syncretism or cross-fertilization with carnivals or traditions of masquerade from medieval times and even before that. If we go as far back as, our lives or ancestral home on the African continent, there are various expressions of what we know today to be Carnival. And whether these were used to mark the end of a period of, community mourning, honoring the ancestors, the harvesting, there are all kinds of ways in which societies would bring attention to their own lives, celebrating aspects from birth to death, in fact, using the expression of Carnival. So highly creative, a lot of color. Where the Caribbean is concerned, our most important carnival would be very much Trinidad and Tobago. They, in fact, have a holiday.
Yes.
Trinidad is locked down on Monday and Tuesday. Carnival Monday, Carnival Tuesday, prior to Ash Wednesday. And of course, historically, this we're talking about the late 19th century, the 1890s, especially at the birth of Calypso as a musical genre. We have carnivals emerging with the steel drums being created, the steel pan being created out of the steel drums, and of course, the music associated with what is reveling in the street. A full masquerade tradition. And there are expressions that tell us of this masquerade tradition from, you know, whether it's the stick fighters, the jab or jab malassi. There are various expressions of this kind of creative element of Carnival. It's a street parade. There is, of course, the Panorythm Festival. Yes. So leading up to Carnival or Carnival Monday and Carnival Tuesday, what you have would be an entire year's preparation, in fact. And historically, what we want to focus on is the fact that Carnival came as a moment of release. A moment of release, especially if you think back to just post-emancipation and pre-emancipation times.
Yes.
Where celebrations, particularly around, you know, even Christmas time, Grand Market and so on, there was an understanding that societies needed this kind of safety valve to allow those who were either enslaved or freed people to be able to celebrate. So Carnival becomes a sort of quintessential expression of this kind of cultural creativity.
Certainly, aside from that, some would have said Carnival is also a form of rebellion, a celebration of flesh almost. Do you at any point see Carnival and Lent or Ash Wednesday having any cohesion or the possibility of coexistence? And I'll put that question to the Bishop as well, right after your response, Dr. Nayo.
Surely. So what we want to centralize in the conversation, obviously, is that Carnival has key expressions of resistance. And of course, remember that if you're coming out of a culture of enslavement and so on, a system of oppression where you have no real control over your own time, by the time there is this release, this safety valve, this moment of expression, you're going to go all out. And in Carnival, it was absolutely a sort of popular resistance. So rebellion, very much in the expression of Carnival. So you put your all into Carnival, this expression, you're really consuming all of what you can prior to the Ash Wednesday celebration. And as societies that would have had Catholicism, Anglicanism, and so on, there is much importance placed on moving into Lent. And so all of the excesses would be visible through this carnival tradition. And it's a celebration of the flesh in a very, literal, but also figurative sense. So you're consuming all of what the flesh might.
And this God was the God of flesh. He was the God of lust and everything that
the church stands against.
That the church, yes, believers, Christians stand against. And so yes, it is absolutely correct, because when you are participating in Carnival, you are catering to the flesh, which is diametrically opposed to what the whole season of Lent supposed to represent. Because in Lent, it's a time where you put the flesh under submission. It's not a time for the flesh to be exalted and to be lifted up and and to have wanton expression. It's a time for the flesh to be put into subjection. And so hence we have fasting and penitence. And so Carnival, I don't believe the two of them can coexist because they are diametrically opposed to each other.
We will continue this conversation right after this break. Stay with us.
Open a Sagicor Bank savings account from anywhere. Go online and open yours today.
The Time by Sagicor Bank is
CVM News at 7 Wednesday, courtesy of
Your Love Lives On with life insurance from Sagicor.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, government pledges assistance for fire victims and election financing campaign period begins March 7. Also, Jamaican nabbed in ticket scale scam. In Living the Life, we meet a 105-year-old pastor, while in sports, new look Michael holding Senior Cup to bowl off on March 15. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I'm Ramon Gordon. On this Ash Wednesday, March 5, 2025, thank you so much for joining us for this special shortened edition of the broadcast. A fire ripped through sections of Fleet Street and Lad Lane in Central Kingston just a week ago, destroying at least 12 homes and leaving over 50 people displaced. Now the government is stepping in, offering aid and addressing concerns over who qualifies for support. Here's Courteney Lewis.
The government has pledged assistance to victims who lost their homes in a devastating fire on Fleet Street and Lad Lane just 1 week ago. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, along with Member of Parliament Donovan Williams and the local government Minister Desmond McKenzie, visited the affected Central Kingston community. While recovery efforts are underway, the PM says the rebuilding will take time.
Before we can assist in a meaningful way other than the humanitarian assistance, which is already in train, the building assistance, we have to determine the ownership of the land. That's number one. And then we have to do some social investigation into the circumstances of the persons to determine the extent to which we can help.
But the concern remains for families who cannot prove ownership. The Prime Minister explains the government cannot construct on land it does not own.
Once ownership is established, then we can determine what we can do, whether it is to replace a building or to give a grant. Now, for those persons who are living on property that they don't own or don't have the title to, then we still will help, but we will help you maybe with building material or some other form of assistance. But we cannot build on land that is not our land, or we don't have the rights to build on it.
In the meantime, Member of Parliament Donovan Williams is conducting property assessments, which the Prime Minister says will help guide the assistance effort.
The land situation is being assessed, that they do have titles and permission. And so for those that they don't have the title, or they know who the owners are, then we will seek to get permission from the owners to build.
Courteney Lewis for CVM News.
Murders in Central Kingston are on the decline. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says residents, once trapped by gang violence, can now enjoy life again.
We declared a zone of special operation in the area. We mobilized the resources. And of course, there was some other interventions with some of our social services. And we also bear in mind that there was Project Star that contributed. And as a result of that, today I can receive this very, very heartening report about the improvements in the community. And by virtue of what I'm seeing with the community being able to come out, I've toured this area many times before, and residents were hesitant, apprehensive, and were not able to come out and fully express themselves. Security is fundamental to business, it's fundamental to the social life of the community, it is fundamental to the peace. So we invest heavily in security.
Jamaica recorded 47 murders in February, the lowest monthly figure in 25 years, according to Information Minister Dana Morris-Dixon. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging residents to be wardens of peace.
Security is not just the responsibility of the police force or the military. You've said it well, that they are policing their own peace. Every citizen of Parade Garden is a warden of the peace. And that is what we want to engender. That you are the ones who really make the peace. What the police does is to secure the area and take out of the space those persons who are vested in breaking the peace. So once ordinary citizens who want to live in peace are allowed, they will live in peace. It is the criminals and deviants and those who feel that they can profit from crime that we need to target and send them to meet a judge, preferably.
2 people, including a Jamaican, have been arrested and charged in connection with a cybercrime ring that defrauded nearly 1,000 concert tickets valued at almost $1 billion Jamaican dollars. Among them is Tyrone Rose, a former employee of Sutherland Global Services, and Shamara Simmons of Queens, New York. Authorities say they exploited their access to ticketing platform StubHub to scam tickets for high-demand events. Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz says both face charges of grand larceny, first-degree computer tampering, and conspiracy. They're due back in court on Friday, March 7. The opposition is renewing calls for the government to fast-track the announcement of the next general election. This comes as it continues to accuse the Jamaica Labour Party of disregarding the Electoral Commission's warning on the Portmore Bill and its constitutionality. Shante McNeil has the details.
People's National Party (PNP) General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell is demanding the government to call the election, declaring the party is ready to claim all St. Catharines seats. His call comes amid controversy over making Portmore Jamaica's 15th parish, a move the PNP long opposed, calling it a ploy to secure MP Alondo Terrelong's St. Catherine East Central seat.
So yes, when the next election comes, we are going to ensure that they no longer have a majority in Parliament so they can continue along this path. Because in Portmore, they're going to get tree love inside of the Sunshine City. Because Fitz will be MP, Dawes will be MP, and Raymond Price will be MP. Mr. Prime Minister, put on your green sandals, your green cloaks, your green washover boot, and call the election.
Dr. Campbell accuses the government of disregarding the law, pointing out that despite warnings from the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ, they pushed ahead, backed by Senate President Tom Tavares Finson, who also sits on the ECJ.
They're trying to trample on the ECJ. It is the same way they put the office of the political ombudsman inside of the ECJ. How can the referee in a match be cheering for one of the side them? It cannot work. The ECJ must not be politicizing that way. And the political ombudsman will have to rule. That if the political ombudsman rule against the PNP, me, I go ball out.
He says if the government had the people's best interest at heart, they would have taken a different path, turning the municipality into a parish instead.
Because then you wouldn't have any constituency boundary that is crossing any parish. Because the 3 constituency in Portmore now would become the parish of Portmore. The reason it is unconstitutional is because them draw a line through section of Fitz and through section of Terrelong constituency. And Warmington told us what they were doing.
Shante McNeil, CVM News.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Labour Party says it's confident of retaining key seats in the upcoming general election. In Clarendon, a former information minister is seeking a second term in his constituency. Trisha Kelly has that story.
A man who has been hungry for 9 years is not seeking power to feed you. He's seeking power to feed himself.
The Jamaica Labour Party is hoping to secure a second term for former Information Now Works Minister Robert Morgan in North Central Clarendon. He is attempting to stave off the challenge of the PNP's newcomer R.J. Dixon in the general elections. But at a party meeting on Sunday, JLP General Secretary Dr. Horace Chang highlighted a recent poll which indicated that the opposition is slightly ahead of the JLP. He urged Labourites to stand ready for elections.
You have the best party, you have the best policies, you have the best program, you have the best everything. Who you expect to be in government? Something wrong with them numbers here. They say they are fallen significantly, and I won't go into that. Other opposed to we are ahead comfortable. But there are little one in the newspaper that said that the people of Jamaica said the right party to run the government for the next 5 years is the Labour Party.
Chang said the polls will not impact the election results.
Jamaicans are saying the best person to run the country is Andrew Holness and the Labour Party. Yet they have a poll saying, I'm going to vote for the other side. Jamaicans no fool. The Jamaicans no fool. Jamaicans want the best party, the best person to lead the country and lead the country to prosperity.
But the meeting didn't end without the North Central MP drilling in the final bolt of persuasion. Robert Morgan discouraged supporters from voting for the opposition.
I can guarantee you, if you ever make the mistake and appoint the PNP and elect the PNP into power, you will not get the benefits that you are getting under Andrew Holness, because never put better.
Morgan took over from the JLP's Pernell Charles Sr. in 2020. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
The election campaign financing period for the upcoming general election begins on March 7. The Electoral Office of Jamaica EOJ is reminding stakeholders that they may contribute to political parties or candidates during this time. However, contributors must declare donations, with limits set at $1.5 million per candidate and $31.5 million per political party, including combinations to individual candidates within the party. Contributions of $250,000 or more must be declared, including multiple donations that collectively reach this threshold. Additionally, any contributor who has received a government contract valued at $500,000 or more within 2 years, must declare it within 14 days. Much to come here at CVM News at 7. Stay with us, more to come.
CVM TV and live Jamaica Premier League action on a Monday night. A match made in heaven. We call it Monday Match Night. Catch all the hard-pounding JPL Monday night action from now until the end of the season on CVM TV's Monday Match Night. Matchday Mondays at 7:45 p.m. with a rebroadcast Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Nothing else can quite match up. Monday Match Night, powered by Sunshine Snacks and ABC Electrical.
Steve knows style.
That jacket! When was you in the Temptations? You are my alter ego.
And Steve gives in to his own temptation. Family Feud.
Brought to you by
SLB empowers my future.
Rise with sunrise. Spend your day with Miss Kitty and Dennis. We've got your back in Money Masterclass with our financial guru, Carlton. Then we take a trip with a Nancy. He weaves his web in Los Angeles. We'll wrap your morning with something for the kids. We're hanging with a gymnast. You've never seen a sunrise quite like this.
This is CVM News at 7. Now look at regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Layoffs at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration are raising concerns about the potential impact on St. Lucia's hurricane preparedness. With 800 employees cut, the island's reliance on NOAA's forecasting models could be affected. DBS Television provides coverage.
Reports indicate that most divisions of the agency, which employs scientists and specialists in weather, oceans, biodiversity, climate and other research and planetary monitoring fields, were affected. Acting Director of the St. Lucia Met Services says this reduction in staff has implications for St. Lucia, as the island relies heavily on the NOAA's data, forecasting models and technical support.
With the reduction of staff at NOAA, this can lead to some delays in some forecasts, which because we rely on some of the satellite products and climate data, we had some minor interruptions in that service. Most of the products that we have access to, or NOAA has let us have access to, has been freely given, and we have also benefited from some of the training opportunities they've gratefully given to us.
However, St. Lucia is not left in the dark. Saltibus says the island is also reliant on other agencies within Europe and regional counterparts.
And in international news, for the first time since becoming U.S. president again, Donald Trump addressed Congress on Tuesday, giving his longest speech to lawmakers on record. More from the BBC.
America is back. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
He praised all the domestic actions he has taken so far on immigration.
And I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
And spending cuts.
We are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
He spent a long time praising his close ally, the unelected tech billionaire Elon Musk.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much.
Who he's appointed to reduce government spending and boost the US's space ambitions. In a key moment, Donald Trump reached out to Ukraine's President Zelensky after days of criticizing him.
It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end this senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides.
It's after Mr. Zelensky made a statement saying he wanted to move forward.
We've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace.
That's it for regional and international news.
Now we highlight the rewards of loving and nurturing children who aren't your own. We turn our attention to a gentleman who, for over a century, has devoted his life to his village and his faith. Curlin Brown brings us more in this week's Living the Life.
Living the life defies time and laws, surpasses storms, hurricanes, wars, recession, pandemics. At his age, it's okay to fumble with the keys to the door of one of his favorite buildings in